Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. They say the world runs on power dynamics, but if you think a Sigma female is here to play the submissive understudy in someone else's show, think again. These women don't simp. They sprint in the opposite direction of anything that smells like desperation. Here's a fact for you. Studies show self-sufficient people are more attractive because confidence is magnetic. Well, Sigma females didn't just read that memo. They wrote it, framed it, and hung it on their wall. Simping? That's for people who have time to obsess over text replies and bend over backwards for breadcrumbs of attention. Sigma females are too busy building empires, mastering their inner peace, and thriving in their independence to waste even a second groveling for anyone's approval. So let's dive into the bulletproof reasons why Sigma females don't simp. Because life is too short to chase people who don't deserve your energy. Number 1. Masterclass in emotional independence. Sigma females don't need anyone to hold their hand when it comes to feeling whole. Their emotional independence is so solid it could survive a hurricane. While others might look to relationships, compliments, or even Instagram likes to feel good about themselves, a Sigma female builds her confidence from the ground up, brick by unshakable brick. She's the kind of woman who walks into a room, and even if no one says a word, she knows she belongs there. It's not arrogance. It's simply knowing she doesn't need external validation to prove her worth. She doesn't crumble when she's criticized, nor does she float away on a cloud when someone flatters her. Compliments are nice, sure, but they don't define her. It's like giving a Michelin star chef a cookie. She'll appreciate it, but she doesn't need it to feel like she's at the top of her game. This level of emotional independence makes simping utterly foreign to her. Why? Because simping requires handing over control of your self-esteem to someone else. A Sigma female would sooner walk barefoot over Lego bricks than give anyone that kind of power over her life. She's got her own dreams, goals, and sense of self to nurture, and simping would only drag her down. Even in relationships, she remains her own person. She doesn't lose herself or turn into someone she's not just to please her partner. If anything, she inspires others to be just as confident and grounded. The idea of groveling for someone's attention or approval feels like a waste of her time. She knows she's already a complete package, and frankly, the moment you realize you don't need anyone to feel whole, the world becomes your playground, not your pity party. Number 2, selective about their energy. Sigma females treat their energy like a rare vintage wine. Not everyone gets a taste. They understand the value of their time, attention, and effort, and they're not about to waste it on people who don't deserve it. Unlike people who hand out their energy like free samples at a grocery store, a Sigma female is selective. She knows that pouring herself into the wrong people leaves her drained and empty, and that's a price she refuses to pay. This isn't about being cold or unkind, it's about being smart. She's mastered the art of reading people, and if someone's vibes scream emotional leech or time waster, she doesn't even flinch. Instead, she gracefully removes herself from the situation without a second thought. Her philosophy is simple. If you want her attention, you better bring something worthwhile to the table. And no, empty charm and promises don't count. The beauty of this approach is that it frees her to focus on what truly matters, her goals, passions, and inner peace. She channels her energy into things that elevate her, whether it's crushing a project, learning something new, or simply recharging with some quality alone time. That's why she's always operating at full capacity, while others are running on fumes, desperately trying to impress everyone around them. People often mistake this as aloofness, but it's not. A Sigma female isn't detached, she's just highly intentional. If she gives you her energy, consider it a compliment. It means you've proven you're worth it. And if you haven't, well, she's happy to let you keep chasing someone else's attention while she stays focused on her own path. Let's be honest, being stingy with your energy isn't selfish, it's survival. Number 3, unmoved by the chase. Sigma females have no interest in playing the exhausting game of the chase. The whole cat and mouse dynamic where one person endlessly tries to impress or pursue another, that's not her thing. She sees it for what it is, a time-wasting circus that leaves most people feeling frustrated and unfulfilled. If someone wants to be in her life, they better come correct from the start, because she's not about to jump through hoops or throw breadcrumbs to keep someone's attention. What sets her apart is her clarity. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to communicate it. If there's mutual respect and effort, great. If not, she's out. There's no drama, no overthinking, and definitely no chasing someone who clearly doesn't value her. Her time is too precious for those mental gymnastics. She'll leave the romantic tug-of-war to people who have the energy for it. But here's the twist. The fact that she doesn't chase makes her even more intriguing. People are naturally drawn to what they can't control, and a Sigma female's refusal to play the game makes her magnetic. Ironically, the ones who try to make her chase often find themselves doing the chasing instead. It's like trying to bait someone who's already 10 steps ahead and not even interested in the prize. Her mindset is simple. If something or someone is meant for her, it'll align naturally. She doesn't believe in forcing connections or bending over backward to make someone see her worth. She already knows it, and that's enough. The chase might be fun for some, but for a Sigma female, it's just another distraction from her goals. Let others run in circles while she walks her straight, self-assured path. Number 4. Unimpressed by surface-level charm. Flattery, flashy gifts, and shallow gestures are like cheap fireworks to a Sigma female. They might sparkle for a second, but they don't leave any lasting impression. She sees right through the noise and isn't swayed by empty words or hollow actions. Compliments are nice, sure, but if they lack sincerity, they're as useful to her as a screen door on a submarine. She doesn't need someone blowing smoke. She needs substance. The same goes for material flashiness. You can shower her with expensive gifts, but if it's all style and no soul, she'll thank you politely and move on. A Sigma female values things that money can't buy: honesty, integrity, emotional intelligence, and meaningful connections. If you think a shiny present or a rehearsed line is going to win her over, you might as well try fishing with a plastic hook. It's not going to work. What really catches her attention is authenticity. She respects people who are real, who show their true selves without pretending to be something they're not. She craves depth in conversations, actions, and relationships. If someone can't go beyond surface-level charm, they won't hold her interest for long. This doesn't mean she's hard to impress. It just means she's impossible to fool. Genuine effort, thoughtful gestures, and emotional vulnerability matter far more to her than flashy displays or sweet talk. She knows her worth, and she's not going to lower her standards for someone who thinks appearances are enough. Sigma females aren't looking for grandiose performances. They're looking for real connections. If you can't deliver that, don't waste her time. Number 5. Self-worth is their superpower. A Sigma female's self-worth is her ultimate superpower, and it's not negotiable. It's the rock-solid foundation of everything she does, from how she navigates relationships to the way she carries herself in the world. She doesn't just think she's the prize, she knows it. And it's not in an arrogant look-at-me way. It's more like a quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I bring value, and I don't need anyone's approval to validate it. This belief in her own value makes her immune to the traps of desperation. She's not going to beg for anyone's time, attention, or affection because she knows her worth doesn't hinge on someone else's recognition. People who chase after scraps of validation, that's just not her style. She's too busy creating her own opportunities, building her dreams, and living life on her own terms. Her actions reflect this mindset. She sets boundaries like a pro, walks away from situations that don't serve her, and never compromises her standards just to fit in or be liked. The idea of simping, of bending over backward for someone who wouldn't do the same for her, is laughable to her. Why would she stoop to that level when she knows she's already bringing everything to the table? This unshakable sense of self-worth isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. People are naturally drawn to her because she radiates confidence without trying. And that's the beauty of it. She doesn't need to prove her value to anyone because she already knows it. It's this quiet assurance that makes her untouchable and, honestly, unstoppable. If you can't meet her at her level, she's not going to lower herself to meet you halfway. That's the Sigma way. Number 6. Focused on the bigger picture. Sigma females are masters of the long game, and their focus on the bigger picture is what sets them apart. While others get caught up in petty dramas or fleeting infatuations, a Sigma female is busy mapping out her future like a true architect of her own destiny. She doesn't have the luxury or the patience to waste energy on people or situations that don't align with her goals. Her time and mental bandwidth are too precious to squander on anyone who isn't adding value to her journey. This isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about being intentional. She knows that every decision, every relationship, and every moment of her life has a ripple effect on her bigger ambitions. So, if someone's presence feels like dead weight or a distraction, she won't hesitate to let them go. It's not personal, it's just business. And in her world, business is all about forward momentum. Her focus isn't limited to her career or financial success either. It extends to personal growth, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. She's constantly investing in herself, whether it's learning a new skill, deepening her self-awareness, or simply protecting her peace. That's why she has zero tolerance for anything or anyone that drains her energy without giving back. This mindset doesn't make her hard to approach. It just makes her standards high. And let's face it, she didn't come this far just to let mediocrity sneak in through the back door. If you're not bringing something meaningful to the table, she won't even notice you're there. Her eyes are fixed on the horizon, not on trivial distractions. For her, life isn't about short-term thrills, it's about long-term fulfillment. That's why she's unstoppable, and that's why simping will never be part of her story. Number 7. Immune to idolization. Sigma females don't have the time or the inclination to idolize anyone because they know that putting someone on a pedestal only creates an uneven dynamic. To her, relationships are built on mutual respect and equality, not blind admiration or obsessive devotion. Simping, which thrives on the idea of one person constantly bowing down to another, simply doesn't compute in her world. She's immune to idolization because she doesn't believe in glorifying someone to the point of losing herself. Whether it's in friendships, romantic relationships, or even professional connections, she approaches every interaction as a partnership. No one is above her, and she doesn't act above anyone else. It's not arrogance. It's a refusal to play into the toxic power dynamics that simping often relies on. She understands that everyone is human, with flaws and complexities, and idolizing someone only leads to disappointment when reality inevitably sets in. This mindset also extends to how she views herself. While others might fall into the trap of wanting to be worshipped or endlessly admired, she finds no satisfaction in that. It feels hollow, fake, and frankly exhausting. A Sigma female values authenticity above all else, and that means she's only interested in relationships where both parties can show up as their true selves. No theatrics, no pedestals, and no one bending over backward to please the other. By seeing people as equals, she sets the tone for healthy, balanced connections. She doesn't want someone to worship her, and she certainly won't waste her energy worshiping anyone else. For her, relationships are about meeting eye to eye, not looking up or down. If someone's expecting to be treated like a god or goddess, they're barking up the wrong tree. She's too grounded for that nonsense. Number 8. Rejection doesn't shake them. Rejection doesn't faze a Sigma female because, simply put, she doesn't tie her worth to someone else's response. The word no doesn't land with the sting most people feel. It's just a redirection, not a reflection of her value. She understands that rejection is part of life, whether it's a missed opportunity, a failed project, or someone not returning her feelings. It doesn't mean she's not worthy or that she has somehow failed. It's just a door closing, and she knows there's always another one waiting to be opened. For her, rejection is a momentary blip, nothing more. She's learned to separate herself from the outcome to the point where it doesn't impact her self-esteem or sense of direction. Whether it's in dating, work, or friendships, she doesn't waste time overanalyzing why someone didn't reciprocate. The world doesn't revolve around one person's opinion of her, and she's not about to lose sleep over it. What makes this approach so powerful is that it frees her. Without the pressure to gain validation or win over anyone, she can stay focused on her own journey. If someone isn't interested, fine. There are no hard feelings. She moves on, no resentment, no bitterness. Rejection becomes simply part of the process, not the end of it. It's not a setback, it's just a push forward. Every no brings her closer to what's meant for her, and she trusts that the right doors will open at the right time. So, while others might dwell on rejection, rehashing it in their minds or making it personal, a Sigma female keeps walking forward, head high and unaffected. The world is too big and her goals too important to waste time on anything that isn't meant for her. Number 9. Powerful without being overbearing. Sigma females don't have to shout to be heard or demand to be respected. They simply are respected, and it's almost effortless. Their quiet power comes from a deep, unshakable confidence that doesn't need external validation. They don't try to force people to notice them or beg for attention. Instead, they just show up, stay true to themselves, and let their actions do the talking. They understand that true authority doesn't come from being loud or overbearing. It comes from being steady, competent, and secure in who they are. Their presence is magnetic, but it's subtle. They don't need to dominate a room to make an impact. When they walk into a space, you can feel the shift. It's not about them needing to prove anything. It's the quiet way they carry themselves, knowing their worth without saying a word. They don't waste energy chasing after affection or approval because they know that anyone who truly values them will do so on their own terms, without them having to beg for it. The respect a Sigma female commands is earned naturally. She doesn't demand it, but she certainly doesn't settle for less. Her intelligence, competence, and emotional maturity set the tone for how people treat her. She's not the type to grovel for anyone's attention, nor is she going to lower herself to begging for affection or loyalty. The people who matter will gravitate toward her on their own, and those who don't, they're simply not worth her time. This type of power is not loud and brash. It's quiet, unshakable, and rooted in self-assurance. Sigma females don't need to flaunt their strength. It's evident in everything they do, and that's what makes them so compelling. Number 10. Masters of walking away. Sigma females are masters of walking away with grace and poise. They don't cling to people who don't reciprocate effort because they understand one fundamental truth. Their time and energy are too valuable to waste on anyone who isn't equally invested. The moment they sense that someone is no longer putting in the same level of care, attention, or commitment, they don't beg, plead, or engage in a drawn-out drama. They simply walk away, as calm and collected as ever, without any bitterness or resentment. It's not about cutting people off in anger. It's about recognizing their worth and knowing when it's time to move on. There's no emotional breakdown when they decide to leave a relationship or connection. They don't see it as a loss, but as an opportunity to free up space for something or someone better. They don't need to justify their decision or explain themselves. Their actions speak for them. If you're not willing to meet them halfway, they're not going to stick around trying to fill a void that can't be filled. They don't play games, and they certainly don't waste time chasing after people who can't make the same investment. What makes this so powerful is that it's not a power play or a manipulation tactic. It's a quiet, self-respecting move that demands respect without saying a word. People are naturally drawn to Sigma females because they don't settle for less. Their ability to walk away from anything that doesn't serve them speaks volumes. It shows that they know their worth and that they aren't willing to compromise on it for anyone. When they walk away, they leave with dignity, knowing that they gave their best. And if that wasn't enough, it's simply time to move forward. In a world that often rewards people-pleasing and the constant chase for external validation, Sigma females stand as a beacon of unapologetic self-assurance and quiet power. They don't beg for attention, don't shrink to fit into anyone's mold, and certainly don't tolerate relationships or dynamics that drain their energy. They move through life with purpose, building the future they want without getting sidetracked by distractions or the approval of others. To be a Sigma female isn't to fit into a predefined category. It's to exist unapologetically, grounded in authenticity, and driven by a vision that's uniquely her own. What makes them so extraordinary is not just the way they navigate the world, but how they carry themselves with an unshakable sense of self-worth. They know who they are, what they deserve, and what they will never settle for. Their strength isn't loud or demanding. It's woven into every action, every decision, every relationship they choose to invest in. They don't need validation because they already know their value. So, the next time someone tries to impose their expectations or pull you into a toxic dynamic, remember this: Sigma females don't chase after what isn't meant for them. They create their own path, on their terms and with people who add value. That's their power. And that's what makes them stand apart. It's not arrogance, it's wisdom. It's not pride, it's self-respect. It's not loneliness, it's freedom. And that's exactly why simping will never be part of their story. If you've found yourself nodding along, recognizing the power and wisdom of Sigma females, then it's time to join the movement. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more insights, straight talk, and empowering content that'll challenge your perspective and fuel your growth. Don't miss out on being part of a community that celebrates strength, authenticity, and unapologetic self-worth. Subscribe now, because your next level starts here. Thanks for watching, Jules. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and stay blessed.